Holiday greetings, everyone. I'm reporting from Metatron on the news on the road. Out of town visiting with my family. We don't do the whole Thanksgiving thing, but we do a harvest feast on Fridays. I'm in my sister's garage doing a little quick post. But because we're native, we do a native harvest feast on Friday, and we cook all of our traditional foods like acorn stew and alligator, and we eat too much and and I tell stories, you know, from our tradition. But it's time to get back to the news because a lot has happened in the non-news since I last reported. And the most important thing I want to talk about, because I know there's a lot going on, but the most important thing that we need to talk about is this whole, okay, I got to stop laughing. One of the things that makes me happy is seeing when the predictions that my spirit guides have made start coming to pass. That makes me happy, even though a lot of the things that they have predicted are kind of, really things we don't want to come to pass. So I was actually happy to see that Faux News actually was reporting today, or was it yesterday, that this so-called, what should we call him? Even in the garage, I got family members coming in. All right, back to the story. So even on Faux News, they were reporting that this shooter was not some unvetted border crosser who was here because of Biden or whatever nonsense narrative they were coming up with. Faux News itself is reporting this guy worked for a certain three-letter agency that starts with a C. He worked for them in Afghaniland. He also was vetted this year by the head clown. The head clown is the one that allowed him to come here, who gave him status. And I'm laughing because remember I had said, my guides had said that they were going to try to create some false flag operation to justify some type of action, and it was not going to work because we're just a lot more astute these days. We know when stuff is fake, and we've got social media now, and we've got all these internet sleuths, and we've got Aaron Parnas, and we got people like Aaron Parnas. We have all these people, right, who know how to get to the bottom of things quickly. So you can't fool us anymore. So their story is falling apart right away. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's really sad. I mean, I don't want to downplay the sadness, but my job is to point out the reasons we need to have hope and to look at the bigger picture and to, bring some humor to the situation. So that is my job. So that's why I'm laughing. But I'm laughing because they're failing, because their efforts to lie and cheat and steal, I know they've been super effective for like going on 10 months now, but they're starting to fail. The circus is failing. And this is what's making me gleeful, that they tried to put forth this story. They unalived these innocent people who were trying to serve their country just so they could have some stunt that they could then try to use to justify their hatred of people who worship in a certain way. And let's not forget the ban during the last circus go around. They had a whole ban. Remember, we were all at the airport protesting with our signs to let our brothers come in and our sisters come in who happen to belong to a particular faith, who were being banned from our realm. And in other unrelated or perhaps related non-news, we just found out today that head clown is trying to start a, kerfuffle, major kerfuffle down south in the Vesuviana country. And of course, we all saw this coming, right, with the endless, war crimes that were going on down there. But what did we say what have we said for a while? He is going to try to start a conflict because he doesn't want people talking about the files of Epi, right? That's what this is about, and we had that recording, remember? ChatGPT said it was legit. So I don't know if it was legit, but ChatGPT said it was legit. That recording where he said, start a war if you have to, but you do what you can because I'm taking you all down with me. Now, that part of the statement was accurate. He is taking them all down with him. And this is something we need to be heartened about because there are a lot of folks who are going to go down. So in news related to that story, we just found out that Heg's Breath today is being investigated by certain makers of laws. They're starting an investigation, opening an investigation into crimes of war against the breath of Heg, because he's just saying, unalive them all, right? And he's actually even unaliving people who were, according to international law, should be prisoners of war, not unalived. And so he's very clearly violating, international law regard to conflict. But that's not the news, right? We already knew that. But that's not news to us. That's not like a real. You know what the update is? The update is that someone's going to do something about it. That's the update. That these makers of laws are actually going to have found their cojones somewhere. I don't know where they were hiding all this time, but they found them, and I'm glad, because now they're going to do something. And maybe it took being threatened personally, because now Head Clown is personally threatening. He's not even trying to be subtle about it anymore, right? He's just like, I'm going to go after you. If you keep talking about these files, if you keep, I'm going to go after you. If you keep talking about, I'm committing crimes of war, I'm going to go after you. If you tell my toy soldiers they can't commit illegal acts, I'm going to go after you. So we had Macy actually grant an interview today saying, yeah, one of his members of staff came right out and threatened to come up with false charges and to pursue a member of my staff if I didn't shut up and toe the line, right? And Massey, remember, is one of the main people who led the charge for the files of Epi. And so he's just coming right out. But what's really, really exciting about this is not that the Head Clown is making clear threats. We know he's been doing that for a while. What's exciting and what's actually news to us is that these people, these makers of laws, are finally speaking out about it publicly to the press, right? We know it's been going on for a while, but they were just all hush hush. We're just going to keep it quiet. Yeah, we're being threatened. Yeah, we're being told this and that. Yeah, they're doing all kinds of corrupt things, but we're not going to talk about it. And this is bipartisan, right? This investigation into the breath of Heg is bipartisan because of his statement, them all, right? They're like, finally, we can finally investigate this. I mean, how many people, though? How many people had to lose their lives in Vesuviana before they decided, let's investigate this? I'm just saying. But we got a win is a win, right? A win is a win. We can't focus on the past. We got to focus on the present moment. And in the present moment, they are finally doing something. So yeah, in predictable fashion, Head Clown is saying we're closing all of the airspace above Vesuviana and nobody can fly there because we are the lords of the earth and we tell everybody in every realm what to do. Dude, like, is he not the most embarrassing drunk uncle we've ever had as a country? Every holiday has one, right? The person you feel like you have to invite, but then they're going to come in and just cause a lot of mayhem and embarrass you, especially in front of you. When you bring your significant person home, your loved one, your person, you're like, oh yeah, come visit my family. They're cool. But then the drunk uncle shows up and you're like, oh God, why? That's Head Clown. But the family is our whole country. And I don't know who invited him. We didn't invite him, but somebody surreptitiously invited him through cheating, and now here we are. In other non-news, eggs are up 37%. I know that's not good news, but I just, reality check, sometimes. And then one last piece of good non-news. JP Morgan, they are killing the game right now. Okay, first, they refused to cash the big check that was supposed to go down to that southern country that starts with an A, where all the smotsies are planning to dig their rat holes and escape to when it all comes crashing down, right? They said, no, we're not cashing that check. And now today we find out that they're refusing to donate to that big, beautiful ballroom that nobody wants. They're like, yeah, they came out publicly and said, yeah, we're afraid that later there might be investigations of bribery and corruption, and that when those investigations happen, we don't want to be on the list of suspects. Until we meet again.